Good morning all. Today we are going to learn a new topic in our chapter negative speed. You all have studied the previous portions that we have covered in our previous class, right? Okay, very good. So today we are going to learn our next topic, which is negative speed. Okay, so are you ready? Very good. Now I'm going to share my screen. Okay, now you can see it. That's right. Very good. So we are going to learn negative numbers and in that chapter negative speed. Right. So you know that what is a negative number. You have some idea about what is a negative number, what is the peculiarities of a negative number, and how do we distinguish a negative number from a positive number, like that, such kind of things. Keep this all these points in your mind. We will need that later. So let us begin with a story. There was a child. He was discussing with his father. What he was discussing? Let us see. See, temperature fall. You know that the temperature is much lower nowadays due to rainfall and in northern in Antarctica, Arctic, like that. The temperature is much lower. You might have seen that. You may know that. That's what we are going to. Why is it so? That's what we are going to say. One day, Atul was watching the news. He heard about the weather forecasting. The newsreader read that the weather at Jammu Kashmir would be minus 7 degrees Celsius, would be 27 degrees Celsius. He recalled that what he learned in his last class. When his younger brother Agash asked him, "Why is it called minus 7 degrees Celsius?" Adul replied to Agash, asked why it is called minus 7 degrees Celsius. Adul replied to Agash that minus 7 is also a number which is less than 0. You know that, right? You know this, right? Okay. So, what is minus 7? It is a number. Of course, it's a number and it is less than 0. So, what will be the numbers greater than 0? It will be what? It will be a positive number. And all the numbers, all the numbers which is less than 0 are called the negative numbers. Are you clear with it? Why do we call such numbers negative numbers? Because they are less than 0. So we now you got a division from 0. Numbers greater than 0, numbers less than 0. Like the number greater than 0 can be marked in a number line. Negative numbers greater than 0 can also be marked in a number line. Negative numbers also can be marked. We know that we can mark a positive number on a number line. That is, a positive number means what? It is a number greater than 0. Similarly, any number less than 0 can also be marked in a number line. So, and let me tell you what are the plural forms that we have seen in this section, in this PowerPoint. There are two plural forms, numbers, negative numbers. And you know that what are plural forms? Right, very good. Plural forms means it is actually the kind of opposite of singular. That's all. So these are the plural forms: numbers, negative numbers. Can you find any other word like plural form? Or all of you can just once more go through this one, and you may recall. Is there any other plural forms? Let's go through this. Nothing. Okay, that's good. There are only two plural forms in this section. Now you can move further. Let's see. What are positive numbers? Let me ask you some. These are some questions. We can see what are positive numbers. You already learned this topic. You already know this topic. So you have to read it. You have to give answer to me. I will ask all of you. Okay. So Karan, can you give the answer? What are positive numbers? What are positive numbers? Yes, that's right. Very good. He told that positive numbers are numbers greater than 0. And that's all about the positive numbers. You are seeing this positive number from the first standard itself, right? Yes. And what are negative numbers? Which we have just learned a little bit earlier. So who can say what are negative numbers? Who can say? Yes, you. Very good. Give her a clap. She said negative numbers are numbers which is less than 0. So that is a negative number. And now let us see. Let me ask you, is 0 negative or positive? That's the question. Always we are saying numbers greater than 0, it is positive numbers, and numbers less than 0 is negative numbers. So a what about the number 0? Is it negative or is it positive? Who can say? Is it negative or is it positive? Nobody. I will give. The number 0 is neither positive nor negative. It's a neutral number because it is the neutral line from which numbers greater than 0 is what? Positive, and numbers less than 0 is negative. So 0 is a neutral number. It is neither positive nor negative. So next question. Is it possible to mark negative numbers in a number line? Can you? Who can give the answer? All of you, come on. You can think, and you can give the answer. Is it possible to mark negative numbers in a number line? Of course, we can mark negative numbers in a number line, right? Okay. As we can mark a positive number in a number line, we can mark a negative number in a number line. How we can mark a negative number in a number line? How we can mark it? We can mark numbers on the left side of 0, right? We can mark it like that. Clear? How we can mark it? Like this. See? We can draw a number line is there and say this is 0, and then we can mark the numbers from this to the left side of 0 can be termed as negative numbers, right? See here, this is 0 and this is negative numbers. Clear? So are you clear that? Is it possible to mark? Of course we can mark negative numbers in a number line. You are clear with it. Very good. Now the next point is there any relation between the upward and the downward journey of an object by noting whether it is positive or negative? That's a question. Is there any relation between the upward and the downward journey of an object by noting whether it is negative or positive? We have solved this question in our previous class, right? Now you can you might have some idea about regarding the answer. I will read it once again. Is there any relation between the upward and the downward journey of an object by noting whether it is negative or positive? We can say that we have already learned that. Come on, who can say that? Is there any relation? Yes, there's a relation. And what is that relation? Who can say? Come on, who can say? Nobody. No. You should do your revision much more. Okay. We will learn it in again. I will remind you in this class. Okay. So next. Next one, the number greater than 0 are called the positive numbers and the number less than 0 are called the negative numbers. As your friends have said answers, they are correct. So the next one, if the answer to the next previous question was, come on, you can read it, right? All of you read it, one of you. All of you can read it by your mind and one of you can read it aloud. Okay, come on. It says, if the speed of an object is found to be negative, we can say that it is downward journey, and if the speed is positive, then it is an upward journey. Whether the journey is upward or downward, by noting whether it is positive or negative. Right. In this class, we are not emphasizing much on the theory part. We are giving importance for your language and your pronunciation. You have to make the pronunciation much better. You have to read it clearly. Anybody who is hearing what you are reading, they should be able to understand what you are reading. Okay, there are some mistakes when your friend have read it. I will read it correctly. The speed of an object is found to be negative. And one more thing, you should give proper punctuations in your reading. Okay, see there is a comma is there. So we must give a pause there, then we should continue. Like this. If the speed of an object is found to be negative, we can say that it is downward journey. And again, another joining term is used, so we can give a pause there. And if the speed is positive, then it is an upward journey. So we can conclude whether the journey is upward or downward by noting whether it is positive or negative. So you all know that, right? Very good. Next one. Actually, what are positive numbers? We are going in much detail about positive numbers. You all know this. You have very good knowledge about the positive numbers. But you have to write some points like this in your notebook. Right? See, look at these points. Positive numbers are numbers which are greater than 0 and negative numbers are numbers which are less than 0. This we have discussed earlier. And the thing we have to keep in our mind that our pronunciation must be clear. 0 is neither negative or positive. Okay, we don't know about we don't know that. I'm not saying 0 is, we don't know that like that. 0 is neither negative nor positive. And both positive numbers and negative numbers can be marked in a number line. How you all of you wrote it down in your book? Okay. And one more thing you must remember that when you write this down, you must give the full stops and the punctuations should be given proper importance. Then only we can read it correctly. Otherwise, anyone who is hearing what you are reading, they might find it difficult for understanding what you are reading. Okay. So in order to avoid that, you have to write it and neatly with proper punctuations. So next one. If the speed of an object we obtain is negative, so what is it saying? Then we can say it is a downward journey. And if the speed is positive, then it is an upward journey. That is, We can understand whether the journey is upward or downward by noting whether it is positive or negative. You have to write this one also in your notebook. Okay, with proper punctuations. See, again here we can say that the speed of an object we obtain is negative. There a comma is written, right? So you have to put that comma, right? That comma just after negative. Then only we can read correctly. And let me remind you, some of you learned but they forgot. I will remind you, if the journey of an object is negative, if it is negative, then we can say that the object is coming towards earth, otherwise it's a downward journey. So the positive speed means just the opposite, which is the upward journey. Like that you should remember it. And have you all finished writing this in your notebook? Okay, very good. And let me remind you once again, you have to give proper punctuations. Okay, next one. And now I want you to write what we have just learned today, okay, in your notebook. But there should be some key points that you should write. Let me tell what are the remaining points. See, first of all, you have to write what is the definition of negative numbers. What is a negative number? Like that. You have to write that. And the other one. Next point which should be there is negative speed. What is a negative speed? You already know that. We have learned that in our previous class. Okay. Next, you have to give a heading for your summary, which is I'm not giving anything. You have to write according to your creativity. Of course, if a title is given, you should be underlining it. Okay, and it should be in the middle, not in the right side or the left side. It should be in the middle. Next, keywords should be there. See, we have came across many words, but some of the words are much important than the other words. So, in order to give proper importance to the keywords, you can use two ways. Either you can underline it or you can just bold it. That is, right on top of it again. So it will seems to be bold. I think it will be easier for you to just underline it. In doing so, when writing for exams, the examiner, the evaluator can easily evaluate you. Okay, easily evaluate your answers. Okay, so the keywords are there. Especially in mathematics, you should be giving importance to equations. Such equations should be given inside a box. And the next thing is the symbol language should be used. You should not use formal language. Like it should not be much harder. Symbol language can be used because it's for you to read and understand. If it is a hard language, then obviously you won't read it. In order to avoid that, just you should use symbol language. And the other one is present tense. You have to always use present tense. And we can't use future tense or past tense. Okay, how can we say that if it was like this, it's a past tense? And how we can say that it will be like that, the equations will be like that? No, we don't know. We don't say that. We can't say that because we should use present tense. These all things should be included while you are writing your summary. Okay, now you can begin your writing and give this with yourself. I will check it afterwards. Okay, very good. I will note this point down. Okay, next, negative speed. See, all of you should read it aloud and write this in your notebook. Come on, all of you read. First, I will read it for you, then you should read it aloud. negative numbers are numbers less than 0. While doing the problems related to speed of an object, if the speed are found to be positive number, then we can say it is an upward movement. And if the speed obtained is negative, then then its movement is downwards. Okay, so you have listened to me. See, in our second sentence, speed of an object. After that speed of an object, I have given a comma. So I have just paused there. Then I have resumed if the speed were like that. Again, found to be positive number. Again I post. Then I resumed. Then we can say it is not good, like that. So you have to give proper comma and punctuations, and you should read it accordingly. So, are you clear with the class? Okay, there should not be, there is no need to be any doubt or like that. Okay, so what all things we have learned today? What all things we have learned today? We have learned about what is the negative speed and how we can pronounce it. What are the plurals and like that. Okay. So the equations must be given proper importance, how we can write a summary, all these things you have learned today. Is anybody is having any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, so thank you.